Hello there, everyone. Um, this video is inspired by a conversation I had with a friend recently about the vicious decline of Apple in recent weeks. So I just thought I'd do this video and look at Apple and see if it's a buy yet, or if it's a sell, or what's going on with Apple. Now, in my opinion, the bull case for Apple starts with its rather low multiples. A forward or price to earnings ratio of under 15 and a forward price to earnings ratio of expected to be under 12, price to cash flow 17 and a quarter. Compared to a lot of other stocks, that looks fairly cheap. Now, when you add to that, Apple has massive margins, pays a dividend, is a consumer staple, and has one of the best, if not the best, balance sheet in all of the market. It's easy to see why a strong bull case can be made about Apple. But here's the thing. A lot of people love to talk about, oh, is the Google Pixel a threat to Apple? Oh, is this, that, or the other type of this product, this tablet, this home device, whatever. I think that is missing the main point. In my opinion, my personal experience as a former Apple fan, Apple's biggest threat is itself. Now, why is Apple's biggest threat itself? You look at what it's done recently, pushing the product cycle despite few improvements. It's always trying to force in upgrades into the product and improvements in the iOS, trying to really force you to download them to improve your device while meanwhile slowing down old devices, uh, intentionally cutting the batteries on old devices. All of this, it alienates the customers. Along with that, it promotes newer products, sure, but the price increases also works towards losing some of the customers. And the low batteries that was going to mention later, but those just deplete the life cycle of the products. Now, to see why I would think that, one need only look at two facts. The first is that almost a quarter of the market is already iPhones, and that once you consider they're supposedly a luxury product, having high-end phones and tablets and high-end ecosystem, and then you add to that the fact that their devices are already approaching $1,000 for a device and you're supposed to replace them annually. Uh, I don't know how that works that well in a saturated market. Plus, the devices have average batteries at best, and if you expect them to grow in services, I don't know how they're supposed to do that when they're not growing or even contracting in device numbers. Now, if you're looking at their price to earnings of 15, I think it's important to remember that consumer products companies don't get tech company multiples. Look at Sony, look at Samsung. They don't get the premium multiples that a lot of the big Google, Facebook, and other tech companies get. Now, also, I think it's important to look at the downside. If the economy were to weaken, how does this luxury brand do? In my opinion, I don't think it does nearly as well as some people who are like, oh, but it's a luxury brand and the people who can afford Apple will keep buying Apple. I don't think it's going to do as well as those people think, partially because it's already a quarter of the market. Are a quarter of the people unaffected by the economy? I'm skeptical on that. Also, if you're saying, oh, but it pays a dividend, I guess it pays 1.5% dividend. If you're buying a company because it pays a 1.5% dividend, I think it's likely you may have to evaluate your strategy. Now, do I like the risk reward of Apple? Is it a good risk reward at $171 a share? Well, in my opinion, it's all right, but not great. Because, and that I'm not predicating that on the end of a cycle. Because you could say, oh, well, if it's the end of the cycle, of course, most equities would not be a good risk reward. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if the cycle continues and you want to be bullish on equities, I really believe that there's a lot of other places that are offer much better leverage. And if you think the cycle is going to end, but you need to be allocated to equities, I also think there are much better places to put your money. In summary, at these prices, is Apple expensive? No. Is Apple cheap? I'd have to also go with no. Now, is Apple a fine place to put your money? I guess. But are there better places? Well, I think so. So that's it for my Apple analysis for today. I'm not a buyer yet, at least. Um, I want to know what all of you think. Do you like Apple? Do you hate Apple? Or do you want to see me do more videos like this? Just let me know in the comments. And as always, do your own research. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.